Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 506. My name is Adam Patterson. With me today, we've got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hello.
This week on the show, we're going to be taking a look at Evil Does Not Exist, which is the new film by director Ryûsuke Hamaguchi. Also going to be going over some of what we've been watching on the Watchlist, and this week's new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for listening. If you could, give us a review on your podcast platform of choice. Thank you very much. Go ahead and jump into our review. Evil Does Not Exist. This is out now in limited release. I have a synopsis here. Takumi and his daughter Hana live in Mizubiki village close to Tokyo. One day, the village inhabitants become aware of a plan to build a camping site near Takumi's house, offering city residents a comfortable escape to nature. Should mention that it's glamping. They're planning on installing a glamping site.
Yeah, this isn't camping. This is glamping.
Yeah, near their village.
And I like how it's become aware. Like they unearthed it. Like no, it was a very structured.
Yeah.
Meeting time.
They knew it was going to happen. And then they had a formal meeting, to discuss the plans. So it was a known thing. I mean, I think they even knew about it before the movie started. Really?
Yeah. Oh, I think so.
Because they were talking about the meeting, like at the beginning of the movie. So they already knew about it by the time the movie even starts.
Yeah. Come on now.
At any rate, Kevin, what were your initial impressions of Evil Does Not Exist?
Oh man, this is one of those movies, like a perfect Sunday afternoon, just talking about like just a serene, tranquil, for the most part, say like 90% of it.
Yeah,
just
95.
Slow, yeah, like slow cinema style. Just the score is just unbelievable.
Yeah, that's one of the notes I wrote was to highlight the score here.
The score is beautiful.
It is hopeful yet ominous. I don't know how
it's
better describe it. Like it is absolutely enchanting, the score, but there's this like it feels like uplifting, and then all of a sudden it'll take this like little turn where you're just like maybe we're not safe.
And it's so subtle though. Like you don't realize it.
Yeah.
At first, and you're just like, wait a second. This doesn't seem as inspiring as it was before.
How they just cut it off. How it just ends in the middle like that. Like they do that like maybe 3 or 4 times where the score will be very prominent and then they just instantly cut to silence.
Yeah.
And transition to the next scene. It's amazing. Like that. I think that it complements the absolutely gorgeous visuals of this movie. As you mentioned, like kind of just serene countryside, beautiful forests. You can feel a crispness in the air with this movie. And I thought it was impeccably shot. I loved the look of this movie. Incredible.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and just everything about it. I mean, cinematography, the score, the pacing, just like literally every aspect of it is just damn near perfect. And honestly, for the majority of this, there's not a whole lot going on. It's just the main character, Takumi, is just kind of like going about his day, just mostly chopping wood, filling up water containers, and then
taking care of his daughter.
Yeah, and then there's just some of the, there's they get together with the residents of the village with this glamping site, and then there's a small exchange with, the glamping people, like back in Tokyo. But man, it's just a nice, serene time.
Yeah.
Till the end. And the end just did not work for me at all. I don't, like, really
I
disappointing.
I don't really get the end. Like, I don't know if I missed something. I felt like it didn't like it didn't fit.
It,
It just felt very odd.
to me too, and like the only thing that I get, and I mean, I even this I could be wrong, but like it says, a comfortable escape in air quotes, to nature, but nature is not safe, which I kind of get that, but even the stuff around it at the end just made no sense to me.
Yeah, I agree. I don't. I really just don't understand. It's very strange. But man, everything up until that point, this movie's firing on all cylinders, boy.
Yeah,
It was right up my alley. I like it. It kind of eases you in, and it's just a very kind of calming. Almost feels like a slice of life thing where you're just like spending time with the inhabitants of this really incredible village. I mean, holy crap! I would like to visit this place or live here even because it looks amazing. And I loved I mean, all the characters are great too. Like I loved all of the people of the village, like the chief and like uh the guy with the attitude. I don't know his name. He's
the,
the dude that he tells it like it is. He's like the younger guy and he tells it like it
yeah,
is. But I also loved that the whole scene with the like the town meeting or whatever when they had the two representatives from the glamping company, which was a talent agency that was doing this, which was
dude,
kind of weird.
I didn't understand this at all because he's like, I'm a talent agent, and he was, like part of TV shows and acting, and I'm just like, what? How does that play into glamping though? I don't understand.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to what they were talking about earlier about the subsidies. Like they were looking for a way to make a quick buck, and this is like how they decided to do it. Anyway, like that scene, that town hall scene, I thought was incredible. Like I just loved how they went through their horrible presentation and their dumb little video. And first of all, I love how like during the video, the two of them were just sitting they didn't leave. You know what I mean? Like normally when you go to do a presentation, you walk out of the way and let it play instead of sitting there in front of it awkwardly, but they just kind of sat there. And then how they were like, okay, let's pass it over to questions. And then like immediately they're just getting hammered with like not dumb questions. Like I think that they expected, and I think they even kind of say it in the movie that they expected this to be some sort of like dumb kind of backwater, hill people town. But
Yeah,
that's not the case at all. You have a group of very highly intelligent sort of almost environmentalists that live in this place, conservationists we'll call them. So they
and the
know
yeah, and the
about the environment, they know about
how it's
how,
gonna impact it and
yeah,
everything.
they know everything. And so when they start hammering the questions like the septic tank thing and like how they're just like, nah, it's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. Can't do it. You can't do that. I thought that whole scene was great. How they just
And
shut
yeah,
them
and
down.
and the worst part is, like, they weren't even really against it. They were like,
No,
yeah, like
yeah.
you can have your glamping site, but just like move your septic tank and maybe have like more people there, like more oversight, supervision. Like that
Yeah.
was
I
it.
mean, they weren't crazy with like the demands. The demands that they made were very reasonable. We were like, okay, so how big's your septic tank? Oh, yeah, it's for 50 people. Okay, and you said that the site fits 65 people. Yes. Okay, well then that's not big enough. That's not gonna work. And then they're like, oh well, we only expect it to be like 45 to 50% capacity. And then the guy chimes back and he's like, well, you run a business, right? Like if you're running a business, you would expect it to be at capacity.
Yeah, that's your hope.
Yeah. And they're like, well, yeah. And he's like, okay, well then it's not going to work. And how they said like, what was it like? It was like 95% will be filtered or whatever. And they were like, yeah, well, 5% goes into our drinking water. And they were like, well, that's acceptable. And it's like, well, I don't want to be drinking 5% of your shit, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's just, aside from the ending, which to me, everything that preceded it was so strong that the ending actually doesn't, for me, it
Yeah.
doesn't detract much from it.
And I'll add to it too, because I agree with you. Like it was a bummer, but it didn't like ruin it for me. And what made that hit even, even less, I should say, is like it was executed so well in terms of, like the cinematography and everything, where I was just like, well, I don't like this narrative turn that we took, but man, it still looks gorgeous though.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It really does. I mean, so many shots in this were just like incredible, like the kind of like half frozen lake, and even the opening title sequence when it's just the trees, like kind of
Mm-hmm.
moving through the forest, and you're just the camera's just positioned up on all the trees. And I mean, they do so much. Even like some of the scenes that are in town look incredible, where there was like that one where the camera was like in the car, or like on the back of the car, and like when the car started to drive off, the camera was going with it. And
Yeah.
there were just a lot of really incredible shots with this.
Yeah, and it's just it's doing such a good job of just presenting stuff so beautifully when like not a whole lot's really happening. Like
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
like
it's
2 minutes of a car driving and you're just like, this is beautiful.
yeah,
Love this.
and I think I think that there are some movies that can do that really well, like where you don't necessarily need to be presenting huge story beats and still be engaging with the audience. Like, I didn't find myself to be bored or found, being being impatient throughout this movie, because I was just so enthralled in the visuals, the score, the characters, like every aspect of it, like really felt engaging to me. So I was just in it. I was just
Yeah.
in this world.
And the other thing for me is all of those things, plus it's just the village itself, the characters within the village. Like, you could just spend time in this village. Like, this could have been, you know, like a 7-season TV show.
Yeah.
I would keep coming back to this, and like I don't really need like plot developments or anything. I just be like, yeah, I just want to hang out with these guys for 40 minutes. Be great.
I mean, I love kind of small, like rural Japanese, like kind of mountainside villages. Like, I love them. And so any movie that takes place in one of those areas, I'm just gonna instantly, it'll get
Yeah,
bonus points instantly from me.
and it just because I'm currently rewatching, or not rewatching, because I never watched it to begin with. But I currently started watching Northern Exposure,
Mm-hmm.
and God, I love that show. And I could just have this be like that. Just give me that small town,
Yeah.
just the characters within it. I don't need crazy things happening.
Yeah.
Let me just spend 40-45 minutes with you.
Yeah. Twin Peaks is another example of that, where like there's a lot of great stuff that happens in Twin Peaks, but it's for me, it's like one of the big things is the area, like just the town itself. All right.
So
Any closing thoughts about Evil Does Not Exist?
it's just that this is a weird one because I love so much of it, but I really dislike one small part of it.
Yeah. Same. But you know what? I'm actually not gonna let. For me, I think I feel like it's not gonna affect my score for this one. I'm gonna give it. I'm giving it this an 8.5.
Yeah. Damn. I'm gonna give it 7.5.
There you have it. Definitely recommend this. Have you seen Drive My Car? Because I did not get a chance to see that
I did
when it
not.
came out. I mean, I wanted to. I just never got around to it, and now I feel like I really need to see it.
Which is, for whatever reason, like I just have no interest in that movie whatsoever.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I didn't either. Despite everybody really talking it up as one of the best movies that came out that year. All right, so that's Evil Does Not Exist. Again, that is playing in limited release right now. Move on and talk about some of what we've been watching. I believe it is my turn this week. Start things off with Infested. This is a spider movie. And you know what? It's an awesome spider movie, and I highly recommend it. This is one that I had zero expectations for going into it. This is on Shudder, by the way. Directed by Sebastian Vanicek, and it takes place in a high-rise apartment building.
Oh, there you go.
And you have this guy who he has he likes kind of exotic creatures. So he has a lot of insects and different like snakes and lizards and stuff, and he keeps them in his room in this apartment in this high rise, and he ends up procuring this type of spider that he's like never seen before. And wouldn't you know it, it gets loose and it escapes into the apartment, into the apartment building, and it causes quite the ruckus in this apartment. Let me tell you. We've talked about it a million times on the show. I love movies that take place in apartment buildings and high rises. And this is a great example of that, where you have multiple characters that live there. They all come together. You're in different areas, different levels. But the cool thing is that this is a French film, by the way. The spider effects and stuff like that are actually very good. They do use some real spiders in this. I think that it's mostly CG, but honestly, it's so well done in a lot of the areas, most areas, that sometimes you can't tell when they used real spiders and when they used CG. It's pretty good. So that has a lot going for it. And the thing about this is it's mostly like arachnophobia, where the spiders are just like regular spiders. The thing is, they will lay eggs inside of whatever they kill, like whatever vessel that they can get a hold of, and then those spiders seem to be the size of whatever it was that they like lay their eggs in and stuff. So you got spiders of all different sizes here. Some big, some small, but there's like thousands and thousands of these things. I mean, it really is an infestation. But it's great. I highly recommend it. Characters are good. It's fun. Very creepy. Some really creepy spider scenes. I was really surprised at how much I was into this. So Definitely recommend Infested. Again, that's on Shudder, so check it out there. I think you'd be into it. I think you would be.
It does sound interesting. I might have to check it out.
It doesn't quite stick the landing. I'll say that. Like it does kind of peter out a little bit towards the end, but I think that the overall journey is quite enjoyable.
Well, I watched Dolores Claiborne,
Oh yeah,
1995. Taylor Hackford. The movie's got accents. New England accents, buddy.
gotta love those new.
Various, yeah,
Gotta love them.
varying skills that you're seeing here from actors. Some some of these accents are wild. Especially, I thought the worst offender was David Strathairn. I thought his were just wild. And I don't know if it was because it was coupled with how really awful of a person he is in this movie, because he's just one of like the worst people ever. And then to couple it with that terrible accent was just something else. But I'm really interested with this movie in terms of like, how did this play in 1995? Because watching it now, like right off the bat, you're just like, oh yeah, Dolores Claiborne. She was accused of killing her husband, her abusive husband, and they didn't have enough. They just didn't have enough to pin it on her, right? And Christopher Plummer, who comes back because now she's accused of killing her employer, Vera Donovan, this old lady that she used to take care of. And like Christopher Plummer just wants to fucking nail her to the wall because he missed his chance with the husband thing. And like right from the outset for me, I'm just like, either A, it was an accident, her husband just died, whatever, or B, she killed him and good for her. Like, let's just pat her on the back and just let her be. So it's really tough. Like, it's just a bizarre watching experience now because I'm just like, I don't know what the tension is. Like, I'm just happy that she either killed this person or didn't and just got, lucky. But
I remember
man,
this.
Kathy
I
Bates.
remember this being a huge. This was a big movie when it came out. I do remember that.
Yeah. And Kathy Bates is so fucking good, like usual.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, just a great cast. Kathy Bates, Jennifer Jason Leigh, David Strathairn, Christopher Plummer, John C. Riley. Young John C. Riley in there.
Hell yeah.
Gosian.
I'm pretty sure I saw this when I was like a kid, but I don't remember anything about it. So I'm definitely gonna have to revisit this. This is on my '90s watch list for sure.
Oh yeah, man. I know you got the fucking the setting. Ooh, ooh boy.
Yeah,
Yeah, classic Stephen King set. God
yeah,
damn.
I can tell that. I can tell that from the trailer.
Oh boy.
Perfect,
Just
perfect
wonderful.
setting. All right, that's Dolores Claiborne. I saw Manhole, or hashtag Manhole.
Manhole.
This is directed by Kazuyoshi Kumakiri. The hashtag thing. I was like, why? Why the hell is it called hashtag Manhole? It's about a guy who goes out drinking with a bunch of his work friends because it's the night before he's getting married. And so they're going out and they're celebrating. He gets a little bit too drunk, and as he's walking, I guess to the train station or home, I'm not sure. He's walking out of the bar. He starts to feel really loopy, and he ends up falling down an open manhole, and wakes up at the bottom of this manhole, and he isn't necessarily sure where he is, but he just needs to figure out how the hell to get out of this manhole because the ladder's broken. So can't really get out. It's in the middle of the night, so Nobody's around. But one of the interesting things about this movie is that his phone works the entire time. So, usually in these movies, like when they fall, the phone will break or there's no reception. They'll come up with something to get the phone out of the way, because that's always the thing that you could just be like, well, you could just call somebody. Well, his phone works through this whole movie, but it's the middle of the night, so nobody's answering, and he calls the cops, but like they can't figure out where he is, so they can't find him. So they actually do use the phone a lot in this, and that's where the hashtag comes from. He, at one point, in sort of when he starts to get desperate, he creates a fake Twitter profile, and in the movie it's called Pecker, by the way. So he creates this fake profile and leaves it up to the people of the internet to try to find him, and it turns into this like kind of trending thing online. It's pretty interesting. It goes places that I definitely did not expect. It gets a little bit ridiculous towards the end. You're just like, wow, we started off with just a guy, seemed like a normal dude, who falls down a manhole, but there are so many twists and turns in this. Like, there's serial killer, well, there's murderers involved, there's like betrayals, there's it goes crazy. So I'm not exactly sure how I feel about where it goes and how it ends up, but overall I think it was pretty interesting. So I don't know, I give it a light recommend. Hashtag manhole.
Manhole.
Yeah, there's some interesting things that happen, but I think that this guy's like pretty stupid overall. Like, I feel like he could just have kept calling people and trying to, one of the things that they had to contend with was the GPS thing, because one of the first things I thought was, okay, his phone's working. He just needs to drop a pin. He just needs to tell someone like, but I guess his location is not accurate. Like, where it says he is not where he is. And there's reasons for that they reveal later, but it doesn't, like, it felt like that was just for the convenience of the plot, as to not have that be a plot hole. Basically, somebody was spoofing his GPS location, which is kind of ridiculous given what this storyline is. So yeah, a lot of it doesn't work, but still kind of interesting.
Hashtag manhole.
Yeah, stupid.
I watched The Beast. This is on Mubi, directed by Rodrigo Sorogoyen. This is all right. So this movie's 138 minutes, right?
And that's why I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, and this is the thing. It makes its point 20 minutes in, and then that's it, really. And it's just that over and over and over again for the entire thing. So like it's a solid movie, but man, it just drags the on. And it's about a French couple. They moved to this small village in another country, right? And they're farming the land, and Antoine, the husband, seems like he wants to be a part of the village, but I mean, he's not really doing that great of a job. Like, he kind of goes to the watering hole with everyone else, like all the other farmers, but he keeps to himself, and he doesn't really socialize with anyone. You know what I mean? And you can tell that they kind of don't like it. It's this kind of upper class Frenchman coming in and just trying to be like them.
Mm-hmm.
and they don't take him seriously. And of course, he takes the approach of just trying to be, kind of macho about it. And him and his neighbors start getting into it a little bit. And it just keeps escalating. Like, it's just, at first, it's just, kind of like teasing each other and teasing him. And there's this added thing of these developers coming in. They want to put in like a wind farm. And they need everyone to essentially agree to it, sell their land, make a shit ton of money. And then, but Antoine, he's not having it. He doesn't want to do it. He wants to protect the land. But the villagers are like, it's not your fucking land to begin with. Like, you shouldn't have a say. We're the ones that have been living, in poverty, trying to make this land work. And you just had this dream of buying a farm and playing farmer for the rest of your years or whatever. So it goes from there, and then it escalates until it escalates to a just terrible point, and then it switches over to his wife and her dealing with the fallout of this. And like, it's a pretty solid film, but man, it just drags on and on. So it's like to me, it's like a half recommend. Like, if that sounds interesting to you, go for it. If it doesn't, man, you are not going to be surprised.
Okay.
You're going to waste 138 minutes.
Okay. I might still check this out at some point, but I don't know when.
No, but I mean, landscapes. Woo! Want some beautiful landscapes? You're going to get them, buddy.
Yeah, I thought that it did. From what I saw in the trailer, it looked good. All right, that's The Beasts on Mubi. It's on VOD as well. I saw The Drive from Robert Connolly. This is from 2020. I remember briefly mentioning this when it first came out. This is an Australian crime drama starring Eric Bana. And I don't know. I think Australian cinema, they just do crime dramas really well. Like, they just really nail the crime thriller genre. I feel like they're always cranking these puppies out. And this one is I would say a little bit more leans more heavily on the drama side of things than necessarily on the thriller side of things. There's not that many kind of tense moments or anything in this. It's much more subdued than a lot of like the Australian crime thrillers that we've seen in the past. This is your pretty standard kind of procedural. Eric Bana plays this. He's like some sort of federal agent, and he ends up going back to his hometown because there was a horrible event that took place, and he was going back for the funeral, and it ends up bringing up this other tragic event that happens when he's a kid, and kind of the reason that he left the town. And as he sort of begins investigating this other death that has occurred, there's like certain connections that start bubbling up with the other death, and things are just escalating in this town. So it's just a small town, and it's also like stricken by a drought. Like they're having this like really horrible drought, so like everything's dry and dying. Crops are dead. Forest is at risk of catching on fire, and there's like that. It's kind of looming over the town as well. The reason that I watched this is because the sequel is coming out this week, and I thought to myself, how did they make a sequel of this movie? And I was really curious, And I heard that this movie is pretty good. It has like a 90% or something on Rotten Tomatoes. So I checked it out and it is good. I mean, it's not like amazing or anything. It's a pretty standard, very well acted, uh, pretty well shot procedural. But like, how does the sequel fit into this? So I'm very curious to see how that works. And Eric Bana is in the sequel, playing the same character. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
But what's it called? Is it just called The Dry 2?
Yeah,
Are
it
you
has
serious?
it is. Yeah, it's called something colon the dry force of nature, the dry 2. Yeah, force of nature, the dry 2.
What the fuck?
Yeah, the same director too, Robert Conley.
Incredible.
It's so bizarre to me. So that's what kind of brought me to it. I was like, I need to see what this is all about here.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing I watched was a rewatch of Alien.
45th anniversary.
And did you know that Alien's a good movie?
Yeah.
You ever seen it?
I did know that it was a good movie. If you're not familiar, Alien is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Get out of town.
It is, yeah. Really, the whole franchise. I like all of them. Even, Alien Resurrection and the Alien Covenant, and I like them all.
Yeah, I think I gotta do the whole franchise. But man, the first one is that's a perfect movie.
I agree.
It's just a perfect movie. Man, Yaphet Kotto and Harry Dean Stanton are just an absolute joy to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It looks incredible. You know what I mean? Like the effects and everything, just the scope of it, the scale, just incredible. Incredible. Such a good movie.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I mean, the world building in it, just everything about that I love. I'd like, I don't know if it's still playing. It was in theaters. They re-released it in theaters this past week.
Man. Oh boy.
And I would love to be able to see that in the theater. Well, if you decide to go down the Alien rabbit hole, let me know, because some of them, like Alien 3, you should watch the director's cut of that one, not the theatrical cut. So there's like, most of the Alien movies have multiple cuts.
Yeah.
And like for Alien 3, I would recommend the director's cut, Fincher's cut of that one.
Okay.
The only other one that I'll briefly mention is The Contestant. This is on Hulu. This is a documentary by Claire Titley. I was familiar with this story. I saw a YouTube documentary or YouTube video about it a while back, like a couple years ago, probably. So I was familiar with this story to a certain extent. Basically, it is about a sort of reality show that aired in Japan back in, I think it was 1998. And essentially what they did was they picked a guy to they picked this guy, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to be on this game show?" And he's like, "Yeah." They didn't tell him what it was or anything. They put him in a studio apartment, like a 1-bedroom apartment, or 1-room apartment, took off all of his clothes, so stripped him completely naked. And they said, "Okay, you're going to stay in this room until you can earn 1 million yen by filling out sweepstakes and contests from magazines." So what he had to do was just fill out postcards, like look for contests in magazines and fill out the postcards and enter to win different items in magazines. And that's how he had to live. So he had to live off of contests and try to earn 1,000,000 yen to get out of the room. And it took him over a year. So he was stuck completely alone in this room, complete isolation, no human contact for over 300 days. And like the toll that it took on him was, I mean, it's tragic. Like it is not like what they did was really messed up. And
Yeah, what happened to them? Like they got in trouble, right? Like you
nope,
can't do this to somebody.
nope. The thing is the door was unlocked. So they weren't like they didn't like kidnap him. And it's interesting because after a certain period, at the beginning, he wants to win. Like and they also didn't tell him that it was being aired on TV. So, yeah. So he didn't even know that this became like a phenomenon in Japan. And he didn't even realize it. So, at first it was really hard. He was entering, I think in his first week he entered like almost 1,000 of the contests and he didn't win any of them. And at one point they were like, okay, he's gonna die. Like we're gonna have to give him food because he's not winning food because there's no food in this. He has everything, literally everything has to be won through the contests. But eventually he does win. He wins it's like some kind of like gelatin drink or something, and then he wins a bag of rice, but he doesn't have a way to like he doesn't have a vessel to cook it in. Like the apartment has a little like gas stove, but he doesn't have any dishes or pots or pans or anything like that. So he just puts it in hot water and leaves it overnight, but it doesn't do anything. And then he gets a bunch of dog food. So he lives off of dog food for a while. It's an insane story. Yeah, he and the crazy thing is, and I don't know, this is like an old thing that happens. So I don't know if this is a spoiler, but he eventually does make it. So he hits the 1,000,000. He's in this room for almost a year straight. And they come in the middle of the night, and he's crazy by this point. Like he's completely lost his mind. And they're like, "You did it. You won." And what they do is they take him to Korea. So they blindfold him, put earmuffs on him, take him to Korea, and then they have him like they take him out to like a really nice restaurant and stuff, and he goes to an amusement park. So they take him to an amusement park, and then they're like, "All right, we're all done. Let's go back." So they put him on a blindfold again, and they're like, "Okay, take off the blindfold," and he's in another room, and he has to do it all over again in Korea this time.
What?
Yeah, they make him do it twice, and then the second time, the time that's in Korea, he doesn't know Korean. He can't read Korean. He doesn't know the Korean symbols. So to enter the contest in Korea, he has to teach himself Korean in order to do it.
What in the world?
It is an absolutely insane story. It's tragic in a lot of ways, but also somewhat uplifting. Like what happens to him after the contest is even crazier. So like his family's from Fukushima, so they were affected by the earthquake. So they're the tsunami. So when that happened, he did a lot of relief work over there. And then he decided that he was gonna climb Mount Everest in order to benefit Fukushima. And while he was at the base camp in Everest, that earthquake hit Nepal, and he was caught in an avalanche that claimed the lives of like 19 people, and he ended up staying in Nepal to help the rescue efforts there for like 2 months or something. It's so crazy. It is absolutely crazy. But yeah, it's the documentary itself is fine. It's good. It does a decent job of telling the story. Fred Armisen does some of the narration stuff, but yeah, it's worth a look. The Contestant. All right, let's take a look at what we have in theaters this week. We got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I have zero interest in this. What about you?
No thanks.
You know, I liked the other ones. Like, I thought the other ones were fine, but there's just been too many. Too many now.
It is odd to me that this is a movie that just everything that's happened recently with this franchise is just weird to me.
How so?
Just all like out of all the older movies, to just get like redone to this extent. Like, I understand if like you redo like one or two, but like this has been insane. It's like almost like Star Wars level now.
There's a lot of them.
It just keeps fucking going. It's like,
I thought that they were done with the last one, but there's been quite a few years since the last one. But yeah, they're still doing it. I mean, I don't know how much further they can take it at this point. I mean, this one's like years and years, decades in the future. Hundreds of years, maybe even. I don't even know. And there's like 3 humans left. I guess they're going to have to come full circle and just have it be like a straight up remake of the original one where you have a spaceman coming in or something.
Well, I'm sure we'll find out next year or the year after.
Yeah. Also hitting theaters is Tarot. Heard nothing but bad things about that. Back to Black, which is the Amy Winehouse biopic.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much it for wide release. On VOD this week, we got Last Stop in Yuma County. I'm interested in that one. We got Force of Nature, The Dry 2. We got Kitty the Killer. We got Lazarus. Image of You. Uncropped. Indigo Girls. It's Only Life After All. Little Indigo Girls rock doc there? Woo.
Yeah. This is the first I'm hearing about it. I don't get those texts anymore, you know?
I haven't been seeing too many of the rock docs popping up lately. Aisha. One Hand Don't Clap. Got For Sale. Foil. It's going to be on May 10th. Mind, Body, Spirit. Got Sierra. The Last Movie Ever Made. Ruby's Choice. And H2 The Occupation Lab. All right. So, yeah. Got a lot of stuff coming out this week, but not a lot of stuff that's
No.
terribly interesting. Last Stop in Yuma County is really the only one. Let's see. On Netflix, we got Mother of the Bride. That's on May 9th. We got Living with Leopards on May 10th. We got Bosma on May 9th. And then we got The Guardian of the Monarchs on May 9th. And then on Hulu, we have Billy and Molly, an Otter Love Story. Okay. Looks like that's about it for VOD. On Blu-ray this week, we have The Crow coming out in 4K. That's the 94 version. Got High Noon from 1952. Got Joysticks from 1983. That's a classic. That's going to be on the MVD Rewind collection. Joysticks is really... I mean, if you're looking for a classic cheeseball 80s sex comedy, Joysticks is the one you want to look at. A little bit more obscure than something like Porky's, and it takes place in the 80s, so yeah. Fletch from 1985 and Fletch Lives, both getting new releases on Blu-ray. We got Hardware Wars from 1978. That's also a MVD Rewind collection. This is a parody of Star Wars.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The Luke Starbucker is the main character's name. I feel like that's just, you're really struggling to come up with a goofball parody name with Luke Starbucker under the tutelage of Augie Ben Doggy. Mm-hmm. They call it the Farce instead of the Force. Get it? Oh, and instead of Han Solo, it's Ham Salad.
What? Oh, that's good.
What is happening with this? I feel like I've seen this like at the video store before or something. Let's say 13 minutes. It's only 13 minutes long.
I just pulled it up on Letterboxd. It's like, that can't be right.
One from the Heart from 1982. The Rain People from 1969. What's the Rain People? Devil's Doorway from 1950. Secret Beyond the Door from 1947. Spider Labyrinth from 1988. All right.
Hey now.
Gonna open that in another tab.
Spider Labyrinth. Now we're talking. Now we got it.
Let's see.
Once the name gets tangled up in a supernatural mystery and Watchlist.
Yeah. Sabotage from 1996. That's going to also be on MVD Rewind. Shadow Zone from 1990. Open that new tab. Let's see what else we got here. The Sect from 1991. The Church from 1989.
Hold on. Wait a second. The Church from 1989. That movie's fucking awesome.
Yeah. This is a 4K restoration.
Oh man. Get that. Pick that up.
Yeah. The alternate title of this was Cathedral Demons. It is. I don't know if I remember you talking about this on the show, but I don't think I've actually seen this.
It's so good. And I'm glad that you said it, because I kind of forgot about the Sect. Same director. That's on Shudder. Sect is on Shudder. Oh yeah.
This sounds familiar, but I don't think I've seen this either. Argento wrote Sect also. I didn't know that. All right. What do we have on Criterion this week?
We got one, but it's a twofer. You get two movies in one container, and that's Ozu.
2 for 1.
2 for 1. You got that right. Ozu, Story of Floating Weeds, movie from 1934, and then later he redid it as a color film in 1959. Floating Weeds. You get both of them, and I don't understand this, but on Criterion's page, Blu-ray $31.96, DVD $31.96. Same price, either or.
Oh, there you go. Cool. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You could consider giving us a review on iTunes. That'd be great. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.